Race won't hold it together. The racial glue, it held it together all that other time. And there was a few white folks mixing in and trying to loosen up, but it still held together. Now, there's the different groups within each race, and each one of them hates each other as much as they hate me and you. Yeah. And they have as much mistrust of, each other. And then you have, why is it so important that we make America aware of what America has done so we can unify the people? All the people. It's not your fault. You just, came here and did that. Even it's not you immigrants, Italians and everybody that came here and used up all of it. The Italians doing the same thing that the new Salvadorians and other people from Latin America. Who's doing all the work around here? Who's putting on all the roofs? Latinos. It's not their fault. The people up here made them poor, got all their bananas down there and bring them up here for 2 pennies, and then they sell them to us for $1. Okay? So it's not their fault that they're running, you know what I mean, up here. Of course, we don't say fault, but when I got here, people did electricity. They used to have 12 trucks. Then they had 2, and the 2 guys were older. I said, well, what happened? Because we wanted a black company to do our electricity. He said, you hire somebody, got a truck, they come in on Tuesday afternoon, do Wednesday and Thursday, and they want to get paid early Friday and go home. And you can't do that, right? And the other people gonna work, they'll get lazy too. Just wait. You can get moved by their house. They have big trucks now. It's happened to every group of people. Okay, but the point is, there has to be a glue that holds the new confederation of humanity together in America to get this job done for the good of humanity. I don't see nobody thinking about it like that, but us. And we've been thinking about it like we've been on that page a long time. We have to be patient as things go along, and we have to be patient with the people. But remember, the main enemy of humanity is first the Zionists, then the Americans, then other various dummies, not dummies, but people. And it's our job to be relaxed and to teach this possibility of working together for a good common cause. And you think about it, if we don't do it, you can pull out your calculator and start figuring, well, how long does the earth have to last like this, right? That's the way it was in the old days, but the Quran don't speak of it. In the Hadith, it was a flood of humanity. It was a this or that, right? Okay. Whatever it was overwhelming the people, and they didn't have the character to rescue themselves from that historical period. This is our historical period. I hope that we do what's good for ourselves, for humanity. Look, and I'll really close with this. It don't make no difference I can just say myself, I like this job better than anything I've ever done. I never expected it to be this nice. And remember, I've had everything else that everybody is working for. I mean, I had that and extra. And just this last few weeks is the first time I've ever got this low on money. And you remember, forget after taking money out of bank accounts, after cutting off fundraisers, after friendly fire, that means, this, the money's gone. You know, okay. After all of that, and after we have all the property we have, there's no income. And we ain't panicked about it. Why? Because if you go back through all the history, Allah be hooking you up. And when you know that, it's okay. It's just all right. That's the way it is now. Are there any more questions or comments?
Someone had a comment about Jesse said, "Where are all the civilized black folks? Jesse called us Afro-Americans, and we went along with that bull. I guess it's called the Afro-American term."
Right.
I want to piggyback off of this because they have a phenomenon, man. When you was talking about humanity coming back, I see a lot of people on YouTube bringing up old theologies as far as where addiction is here, and they have a FBA movement, an Adolf movement, where really Native Americans here. I'm seeing a lot of that stuff going on, and they bringing up old theologies of the 60s, fighting white supremacy and all this stuff that's going on. But I see that you're on the right course because you basically saying that all the old theologies are old. Humanity has to come together, and I feel that many people are not. They need to catch up to us.
Well,
I hope I'm making sense.
no, it makes perfect sense. I'd just like to clarify certain, for instance, when we talk about this unified humanity, we're happy when we hear about Native Americans reclaiming themselves. When they talk about all the Indian schools they had in Canada, God, dog. I mean, and see, I know something bad happened and it was worse than what we saw in movies. Because see, the Indian reservations are like DC. So a lot of the things that they do on Indian reservations, they go to federal prison, just like here in DC, everybody go to the feds. Because there's no state prison for DC. There's no state prison. It's not even a county jail if you call it DC jail. Well, it's not the county jail. It's a DC jail. Okay. I remember when I first went to federal prison, if they had 6 men cells, you would have 1 or 2 Native Americans in there. Or it was, you know. And when I looked at them, I just felt sad. I said, man, what they did to the brothers, what they did to them, all of us have our favorite, we're the favorite oppressed Negro. But this is before the black movement, black pride was big at that time in in the early 70s. So, but they was getting just Ruby Ridge and all of that stuff, for the Native Americans. But those boarding schools and all that stuff we'd heard about them. But you think they detribalized the Negro. They really did a job on them. And then they're in their own country. It's like a South African. Zulu can work, or a Palestinian, he could go and work for the Israelis in Israel because he could get a better salary there than he could at his own house. That's what colonization was. But one of the points I'm trying to make is that these systems destroy people categorically. And here we want to do is build or rebuild people. Okay. Even if we're partially successful, that's fine. And we are not, if white people want to have a neighborhood white folks movement or meeting, it's they can, right? If we want to have a black, but we just want to keep the main monster. That's what we have to be careful with. Keep the main monster, the Zionist American out there, so that we all focus. So our approach is to sympathize in some case with everybody. So we sympathize with hillbillies. You know, one of the hillbillies said in the War on Poverty, he said to tell in '64, he talking to President Johnson, he said, I heard you declared war on poverty. Could you show me where I can go and surrender? Because remember, those white people in Appalachia and everything, they're as poor or poorer. You don't have no contest. I'm more oppressed than you because it's oppression, right? So you could argue with the Beverly Hillbillies, y'all. We got more, oppression than you because you still white, da 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 da. It's a white my behind. As soon as we open our mouth, they already know what door to send us through. Right? Okay. So that's why this is a good job. We want to unify humanity, and they want to divide, conquer, and rule humanity. So everybody should be able to maintain their special little gifts, their little tribal language, their little regional behavior, that's theirs. On the collective, that's where we want to unify. On our picture of what we want America and the world to look like and what we're willing to do to get it there. I think the American people, don't want to sound like no politician, would be willing to sacrifice and do a lot of things if everybody had to do it together. I think they would. They'd walk to the store. They'd do a lot of things. Technically, it's good. And guess what? After they get out of them cars and get on the trolleys, it'll be a million of buses going by, and they start seeing people, guess what? They'll start making friends, and they'll have friends all over the place. Remember how we are. Like right now, we're going out and we're going to be at different massages, centers, and everything like that. But personally, for the last few years, I've been at my house here, and when I drive, and I used to drive all over the city. When I drive out of the city, I come back the same way almost. And in other words, and Boss Man is checking. Boss Man is hoping it stay that way, but it's not going to stay that way because we got something else. Boss Man is hoping that you have your same old patterns of behavior and you don't change them. Stick with what you are, but we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. No, there ain't nowhere in the world. The point is, you get to be a creature of habit. Okay? We have a habit, the kids have a habit of just using these gadgets. They use them. I don't even want to use them. You know what I mean? I don't even want to use the gadget. I said, I want to get up and turn the knob for the channel. They don't have a knob, Dad. They don't have, see there? You can't do that anymore. That's been 3 moves back. You can't. This little thing, I said, if I sit here with this, I never have to move. I could sit here, and the only time I move is to go to the bathroom or get a snack, and then I come back and I could sit here. I would do it every now and then. You know the way they have these, they call it binge TV. Maybe it's a program that you like. Now you could watch all of them programs. So if that was this program I like, what was this program about the president? Huh? House of Cards. I like that because it was just showed how they act. And how the poor guy pushed the little white lady in the subway to get run over. All that stuff, it was like, so I could binge watch. I could